Okay, will the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Wednesday, March 6, 2019 come to order? For the benefit of those who have not participated in a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, our procedures are as follows. The Secretary will read the legal call of the meeting as published in the local newspapers. The applicant will be invited to come forward and present the case, explaining to the Commission and others present what is being requested of this property. Comments of town agencies will be read for each application, if there are any. There will be clarifying questions from the commissioners. Then there will be an opportunity for clarifying questions from the audience. First, for those who wish to support the application may come forward, and second, those who oppose the application will then be invited to come forward. As this is a public hearing, it must be recorded. It is necessary for speakers to identify themselves and state their names and addresses before addressing the commission. 4, the applicant is then free to leave or remain for the balance of the public hearing and the regular meeting, at which time the commission will reach a decision on each application. Each applicant will be notified in writing as of the decision of the commission and has the right to appeal to Superior Court if desired. Decisions of this meeting are available on the day after the meeting by calling the Planning and Zoning Office at 203-453-8039 after 8 a.m. Serving as voting members tonight are Scott Edmonds, Alan Brown, myself, Richard Wallace, and Sean Cosgrove. The staff is George Kroll and Lisa Piambino, and the videographer is Peter Schulze. Secretary will now read the legal notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on March 6, 2019 at 7:30 p.m. at location Nathaniel B. Green Community Center, 32 Church Street, Guilford, Connecticut, Monongahtuck Room, 2nd floor, for the following purposes. First, Town of Guilford Park and Recreation Department, Chaffinch Island Road, Chaffinch Island Park Map 23, Lot 5, Zone R6 Coastal Area Management request to construct a 12-by-12 gazebo. Town of Guilford, Falcon Road, Map 2, Sachem's Head Association, Coastal Area Management to repair seawall along Falcon Road. Copies of these applications are available for inspection in the office of the Planning and Zoning Commission, 10 Hall South, 50 Boston Street, Guilford, Connecticut. At this hearing, persons may attend and be heard, and written communications will be received. Dated at Guilford, Connecticut, this 12th day of February 2019. Phil Johnson, Chairman.
Thank you, Sean. Just for the benefit, I think everybody here is for Falcon Road and other issues. Chaffinch Island has been tabled until the 20th of March. If anyone's here for that project, one more time, it's not before us tonight. Okay, so we go to Town of Guilford, Falcon Road, Map 2, Sachem's Head Association, Coastal Area Management to repair the seawall along Falcon Road. Janice?
Good evening. I'm Janice Plasiak, the town engineer for the town of Guilford, representing the town on this application. The town of Guilford suffered damage to the road and seawall along Falcon Road in the low-lying area adjacent to Long Island Sound this past winter, and the road is currently closed due to that damage. We had damage, I believe it was just before Christmas time, and then it repeated itself again in January with further damage. As a result of that, the road's been closed, as I said, and we are in need of doing a repair so we can reopen the road as soon as possible. We have applied for and received permits from Connecticut DEEP. It's a certificate of permission permit. The project is simply to repair the seawall as is in kind. There is no proposal to elevate the seawall or to do any further reinforcing of the seawall other than to put it back together with mortar and backfill it and put the road back together at this time.
Any questions from the commission?
There's a letter from March 5th. The Town of Guilford Engineering Department is proposing to repair a damaged portion of seawall and roadbed due to the undermining of wave action from Long Island Sound. The coastal resources at or adjacent to this site consist of a beach, coastal waters, developed shorefront, and rocky shorefront. This section of Falcon Road is located in a FEMA wave action zone, VE, elevation 13 feet. The repair of the retaining wall is consistent with CTDEP policies for erosion control structures since the seawall wall protects public infrastructure. The proposed replacement of stones and repointing of the wall is in area of combined jurisdiction with Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. The Town of Guilford has received a license from Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection to conduct this work with conditions. In order to make sure that the coastal resources are protected during the construction process, I recommend the following conditions of approval. Number 1, all work on the seawall should be conducted during periods of low water. Number 2, all heavy equipment shall be operated from the road surface. Number 3, since the proposed work is located in a FEMA flood zone, all unsuitable material removed shall be trucked off-site. No stockpiling of soil shall be allowed. Are these all fine with the town?
I actually submitted a letter in response to that, along with the copy of the license received from Connecticut DEP. And you can see that they included conditions in their approval. They did not include the limitation of stockpiling of the material because it's a floodplain. We do need to be able to stockpile minimal amounts of material in order to perform the work. Our Department of Public Works will be performing the work. We expect it may take, weather cooperating, about 3 weeks' time to do the work. There's no intention of stockpiling large amounts of material there, but there will be stone and processed stone and things to put things back together again. If there is an event of a storm coming or something like that, which would put that material in jeopardy of causing washout or erosion, we would remove it from the site, but we would like to be able to have some stockpiling material on site while the work is being performed. And then obviously at the completion of the project, all material will be removed from the site once the road is able to be reopened.
I should know this, but it should be granted tonight. When would construction?
It's dependent on DPW's schedule, but most importantly, the weather, because we will be utilizing mortar to put the stones back into place. We do have to have a little bit warmer temperatures to be dealing with that and make sure it's going to hold well.
Just as history, this is the second time this has been worked on.
Yes, it is. We suffered damage to that wall in a different location in 2017.
Stockpiling of soil shall be allowed. Will
Yeah, I'm
there
not
be
exactly
soil?
sure what soil he means, because we're really, no, there's minimal amounts in terms of some of the backfill material if it's in the way to place new stones. We're going to be reusing as much of the existing stones. We tried to retrieve the stones that got dislodged and have been stockpiling them nearby, and some new stone will have to be brought in. There'll be large stone to build a similar type wall back.
So it's a similar type wall, but given that we're all aware of the fact that these events will likely continue,
Right.
Are there any modifications being considered for the wall that might make it more stronger to withstand?
Not at this time, because in order to go through an improved or a betterment project, it would require extensive analysis, design, and permitting that would hold up the ability to reopen the roads. So we're taking the approach right now as the town, doing the project themselves and trying to make it as cost efficient for the town and as expedient as possible in order to open the road, to just repair in kind. And a betterment project certainly needs to be considered, or some alternative solution to this old stone wall holding up the road. It has a few deficiencies, one of which is obviously withstanding wave action. The other one is there's some safety concerns from my mind in terms of how low it is adjacent to the road. There's some other issues there that obviously need to be looked at, but it's really not part of the purview of trying to just get it repaired and opened.
So it could, a betterment project could involve not only the wall, but raising the road.
There are a number of possibilities that can be considered for improving the situation with the challenges that road has experienced over the past several years.
Any more questions from the commission? Any questions from the audience? Step up and identify yourself.
Good evening. My name is Mary Alice Lee. I'm the current president of the Sage and Set Association. And we are delighted to be able to talk about this tonight and to have been working with Ms. Plasiak and with Mr. Fillion on getting this road reopened. In my recent memory, this is the 5th time this road has been partially or entirely closed. Hurricane Irene, Superstorm Sandy, 2017, part of the seawall went out and the road was closed. December, half the road was closed, and then in January's storm, it was closed again. So I think your question about whether there should be a long-term solution to this is really well taken. I appreciate that the road needs to be opened as soon as possible. Nobody's cut off from their home right now, but there's a water main that runs under the inner lane, and there's electricity that runs under there. And if that wave action and this erosion and this damage continues to happen, people will be cut off from the utilities that they need to live down there. We would like to see the road repaired with at least the kind of shoring up that you and DPW did on the west end of the seawall, which I understand included cement to backfill it and pinning to the bedrock behind the seawall. And it doesn't sound like this proposal is going to take that amount of work and strengthening for the seawall. Am I correct on that?
Yes, it wasn't pinned to the bedrock the last time either.
Okay.
There was a limitation. We're limited to how low we can go, and the bedrock is about 10 to 15 feet. And with the last repair that was done, they only went about a foot or two below the existing wall's base with some concrete. My concern with doing that here with the extent of it is that if there's a future project that truly does want to reconstruct things down to the bedrock, you're going to create a blockage of this concrete that's back there and be spending a lot of money that may not be, that'll just be in the way for the future betterment project. So I think it was decided by both myself and the Public Works Director to just try and put the road back together again, the seawall back together using mortar that will seal up some of those voids between the stones and protect it, hopefully until a final decision's made as to what's going to happen with that road and the seawall going forward.
Okay. Then, on behalf of the Sachem Head Association residents, the people who are really directly affected by this every time this road closes, I would plead with you to set a timetable for a very timely consideration of development of a plan to make a more permanent fix to this, whether it's moving the road or elevating the road or shoring up that seawall, whatever it is, we need something in place to do that in a timely way. We want to offer all of the advice and the comments that we can bring from the neighborhood to support you in that. But it should be done soon. I mean, this is an ongoing, regular expense for the town.
Clearly, it's a very vulnerable, the road is in a very vulnerable area where the seawall is.
Yes,
Correct.
It's in a filled cove, basically.
Yeah,
If
so-
you look at the old maps of the area, which a resident actually brought to my office today, it's my suspicion, given you have a beach, a wall, a road, a flat area, and then you have a salt pond beyond it, it was clearly an open cove prior to being filled in and created into a road. And it appears that, the time of it being built, it wasn't built to have a base to the wall that goes to bedrock, so it's susceptible to scour and wave action. It's a low wall, so it has waves crashing over it. Could easily wipe it out from behind. So there's, a little bit of challenges with the storms that we've been getting over the past, decade or so in terms of intensity of storms increasing. So.
Well, I would only observe that if as many people would agree the likelihood of storms will not decrease, they're likely to increase, and their severity could increase as well, that if this is a very, very weak point in the shoreline, it's possible that any amount of money we spend on a seawall could be poorly spent.
Well, that's part of, that's why you have to go through true analysis, engineering analysis, wave run-up analysis, to really design or determine whether a good design can be put in place there. And we also have to do that in the context of the other needs of the community and other locations where, in this location, thankfully, it's not dependent on people accessing their homes. So that's, we had the ability to leave the road closed. I know it's an inconvenience and there are other considerations, but we do have other neighborhoods in town where, at Cherokee Heights High, they can't get to their homes, and those are other considerations we have to put into play. I have talked with our first selectman, he's aware of it, and it's really going to be up to, the Board of Selectmen to really set the priorities as to where we're going to focus our attentions in terms of analysis, permitting, funds, and where the priorities really are. And in the past, the town has has elevated 3 roads already in an effort to provide access to areas that would be cut off in high tide and things like that. So access to homes is obviously one of those priorities. But that's a community decision. It's not my decision. It's it's a decision that has to be inclusive of others, obviously, and certainly the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance have to weigh in on that.
Just a final point, the fact that none of the people in these neighborhoods are being cut off from their homes, and to your point about prioritization of other projects which are subject maybe to similar circumstances, which might become more frequent, I think consideration has got to be given to whether a project of the magnitude that may be involved is advisable.
Right, and that's, so that is going to be part of the decision-making process going forward. But we believe we can do this repair that's being asked for permitted tonight with relatively minimal cost to the town, using town forces, and we can get that road reopened and make those decisions less under a situation. We do recognize there's a water main there in the meantime that we do still need to protect in the short term for sure. So that's why we decided to do the project where we can get the quickest permitting and get the road back together, the wall put back into place, and then make those decisions going forward.
While you're doing this work, is the road going to be open?
I'm sorry.
While you're doing this construction, while this construction is being done, is the road going to be open to these people to drive over?
No, not until the work is completed. The road right now, the pavement is all buckled from the damage done by the waves. So it's not just the wall that's damaged, it's also the roadway surface itself. So once we repair the road, the wall, we have to repair the road, and then the road will be open.
So the road's going to be closed?
Yes.
So they have another way to go, obviously?
Yes, there's access to people's homes and other locations, and we're working with the association's parking lot and tennis courts are the only isolated property right now that we're working with them and trying to provide them the access when they need it.
Yes.
Anything else?
We're looking forward to working with you on a long-term plan on this.
Let me get everybody else.
Huh?
Anybody else with any questions?
Yeah, all right.
We'll read that in.
My name is Nasir Hassan. I live in 3 Walden Hill Road, which is just across from the seawall, which is the project. I support Ms. Lee in her comment. The last time the street itself collapsed. So we're talking about there is a risk involved other than just the seawall reparation. So I strongly recommend that after repairing the seawall to have a solid plan about the future, because we don't want to wait until an accident happens.
But that's a,
We certainly want to speak to the First Selectman / Board of Selectmen to make sure that they're aware of your concerns.
they're here tonight just to approve this project for the coastal area management. I think it has to be looked at as a capital project for the town. Well, too late this year for the budget, but start working with the selectman's office about that this needs to be done. Possibly they can find ways of funding it through state grants, which, I don't know, is fiscal stability of the state, but
For clarification, our recommendation will go to the town from here?
yes, to the Board of Selectmen,
Board of Selectmen would be
Very good.
the
and they
next
can
step.
pass it on to any of the departments under them.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Alan has a letter from,
A letter from Tracy's Gramier, Town of Guilford, Falcon Road, Map 2, Sachem Head Association, Coastal Area Management Application for repairing the seawall along Falcon Road. I'm writing in support of the town plan of repairing Falcon Road by rebuilding the seawall and adjacent road, bed road in kind, in order to reopen the road as soon as possible. The town plan is consistent with the Coastal Management Act because the proposed repair will have no significant impact on the beach, which is directly alongside the sea road. The beach lies among almost entirely waterfront of the coastal adjacent line and is an important coastal resource for recreation and wildlife. I have been told that references to the town application to alternatives would involve replacement to the structural material on the beach and are comparatively proposed only, and not only part of the proposed project. I understand any plan change would involve great impact on the coastal resources, including any part of the beach, would require additional site plan reviews and the DEP permits. I would involve the opportunity for further public comment. Thank you very much for my consideration. Tracy.
okay, any other comments?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on this issue.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Next, Town of Guilford, Park and Rec is deferred, continued to March 20th. Proposed amendment to the zoning code, lots without required frontage. George, can I have a motion to continue
I'll
that?
make a motion to continue it to March 20th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to withdraw the proposed amendment.
Period.
We're still working on the language on that.
Remand it back
The
to,
frontage.
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to the planning committee.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the revised agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Deliberation of public hearing items. Scott?
Yeah, I have a motion to make, voted that well, actually, before I make this motion, one of Kevin's 3 points was the stockpiling of soil, and it sounds like that's something that we do not want to have as a condition. Would you all agree with that?
I agree to take it out because it's not soil.
Okay, voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a coastal area management application for the town of Guilford to repair a seawall at Falcon Road, map 2, Sachem's Head Association, as shown on an application dated February 4th, 2019, prepared by the town of Guilford Engineering Department. This application is approved with the following conditions. 1, all work on the seawall should be conducted during periods of low water. And 2, all heavy equipment shall be operated from the road's surface. This application is approved based upon a finding that it is consistent with the coastal management policies of the state of Connecticut.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Seems like it needs to get done as soon as possible.
Yeah. In my other hat as being a member of Public Works, that's why I brought up the history. Yeah. And I'm sure Ms. Janice will have in her agenda down the line to
make this more sustainable, get this fixed now, and let's look at a longer-term situation, which is not before us right now. That would be another CAM application, et cetera.
Certainly, the recommendation to anyone watching is that they should, if
Yes.
they're interested in this topic, they should speak to the Board of Selectmen.
That's right. Call the question. All in favor? Okay. Run on a record pace. Site plans. Yale New Haven Hospital, 125 Goose Lane, map 75, lot 13, zone C2. Site plan modification for installation of electrical cabinets, below-grade duct banks, and existing fire land reconstruction. Vote to receive.
So moved.
All in favor? Okay, other applications to be received. Darrell and Kayoko Tamori, 104 Watering Pond Road, map 97, lot 35A-07, zone R8. Special permit for structure over 750 square feet, section 273-94. Receive and set public hearing for April 3rd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hocon Gas LLC, Soundview Road, map 35, lot 9, zone I2. Coastal area management and site plan installation for a double-wall, self-containing 1,000-gallon diesel fuel tank. Receive and set public hearing date for April 17th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Richard and Kelly Heffernan, 383 East River Road, map 75, lot 27, B5, zone R5, special permit for accessory structure, section 273-19, receive and set public hearing for April 3rd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Site plan. Walmart, 900 Boston Post Road, map 47, lot 22B, zone SC. Site plan request to allow for outside display of merchandise from 3/1/19 to 10/31/19 and 3/1/20 through 10/31/20. Receive, and we have Mr. Robinson here for Walmart.
My name is Josh Robertson. I'm the store manager of the Walmart here in Guilford. Basically, we're looking for a continuation to utilize the sidewalk space that we've used for the previous, I want to say about 6 years or so. Pretty much it's a space of about 875 feet. We come about 5 feet off the wall to display garden plants, flowers, and mulch and soil during the summer months. It's for the usage from the beginning of March until the end of October, just for utilization of the outdoor season there.
I haven't been here previously for this. When you say the wall, you mean the wall of the actual building itself?
Yeah, the front, on the front of the building, there's a canopy overhang that comes, I don't know the exact measurements, but it's roughly about 8 or 9 feet off, about 9 or 10 feet, 8, somewhere right in that range. And then it's just pretty much to use one pallet space coming up against across the building. So it still leaves plenty of room for egress, anybody coming in or out of the building.
Activity and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Having operated the business next door to you for a number of years, it's always been totally safe, accessible, ADA compliant.
Great. Any other questions?
Just the only thing I would ask that overhang, be sure that we're not coming too far out on the sidewalk because the elderly will be walking from the parking lot and they do sometimes need that area to walk towards the entrance to the building. So that,
Like covered, like they want to be able to walk in the covered space?
yeah, walk on they want to get off they're not going to walk, say, from the parking lot diagonally to go to the door. They're going to walk directly to the building and walk on the sidewalk to come into the building.
Right.
So if there's too much congestion over there in that area, in other words, if there was pots put out in the middle or something like that, so you might, that's one thing that I think is a safety feature. I think you want to be sure that they're kept against the wall and not piled out away from the wall where the public can't use that sidewalk, okay?
Correct, correct.
I'd like to make a motion.
I was just going to...
Sure.
Were we going to try to do outdoor storage for them, or does that have to be another night?
Oh, you were going to ask about that. You're not asking,
I wasn't prepared. It's the same. I didn't resubmit the plan on that yet, but it would be the same plan that has been submitted previously.
The boxes behind the building?
Correct. And that would just be for the months of October through the end of January.
Midnight Madness.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you have to come in again for that, right?
We don't have a motion.
we don't have that, we don't really have that on our application or our
So then
agenda.
we're not
so
discussing that.
It's probably, I'm sure you don't mind coming back.
No, I can come back over.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan revision for Walmart, 900 Boston Post Road, map 47, lot 22B, to outside display as shown on an application dated February 11th, 2019. This application is approved with the following conditions. The outside display is from March 1st to October 31st. This approval expires on October 31st, 2020. This application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code.
Any comments? Any other questions? It's pretty straightforward. It's the same thing you've been doing since before you were there. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Josh?
Thank you.
Alan D'Antonio is moved to the 20th. Other appointment to this,
Motion to table?
Motion to table. Antonio to the 20th of March.
all in favor?
Aye.
Appointment to the Affordable Housing Committee. As the representative of the Planning and Zoning Commission, I nominate Scott Edmonds.
Accept.
All in favor?
To replace Josh, who filled that role before.
Approval of bills to pay Shoreline Publishing $160 for legal notices. All in favor?
I move it.
Everybody read the minutes? From what I saw, they were substantially correct. Can I have a motion?
Motion approved minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
Second.